Hi, and welcome to the little apartment on the prairie. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit about raw milk. I've mentioned, I think, in a previous video that I buy raw milk from a local farm, and some people have asked what that means and why you'd want raw milk. So I thought I'd just talk about that a little bit. Raw milk means it has not been pasteurized. Pasteurization means you heat milk up to partially sterilize it. Usually they heat it to something less than 212 degrees. Sometimes juice that you buy has also been pasteurized, and it's to kill bacteria or germs and things that you don't want to drink in your milk. So the USDA recommends against buying raw milk. They think it's not safe because there can be things like listeria or other germs that you don't want to consume in unpasteurized milk. So why would I want raw milk? Well, raw milk contains certain nutrients or chemicals, things that are good for you, that you kill when you pasteurize it. Now, the USDA will tell you that the nutrition is the same, but there are some things that are different. Like, milk contains a natural sugar called lactose, and some people are lactose intolerant, which means that lactose, they don't digest it well. It gives them gas, makes their stomach hurt, gives them diarrhea, stuff like that. As we get older, we may become lactose intolerant, even if we weren't when we were younger, and there's a reason for that. So you need a certain enzyme called lactase to digest lactose. And milk naturally contains lactase, which helps you digest the lactose in the milk, which seems really smart, right? Nature's pretty smart usually. But we have some lactase in our bodies as well. As we get older, we don't have as much lactase, so we're more likely to become lactose intolerant. But this milk naturally contains lactase, but when you pasteurize milk, you destroy the lactase. So, in short, people who are lactose intolerant can often tolerate raw milk, even though they can't tolerate pasteurized milk. And that's just one reason. People have been drinking raw milk for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. And most of the time, they don't get sick. If you perform, you use basic cleanliness, basic sanitation, and your milk shouldn't have germs or bad things in it. So why does milk need to be pasteurized? Whiskers. Well, part of it, I think, depends on where you're buying the milk from. I buy milk from a local farm. I can go there, I can see the animals, I can see how they milk, I can see their equipment, I can see what measures they take to keep everything really clean. I'm comfortable that this milk is not contaminated and not going to make me sick. When you buy milk at a grocery store, though, you don't know where it's coming from, and you don't know how clean they are or not. And I'm not saying that big dairy farms are dirty. I mean, it's important to you to be clean and to sell good milk and not contaminated milk. They're going to put a lot of effort into doing that. But when you have big operations, there are things that can happen. Sometimes some of the cows aren't real healthy. When I was buying raw milk back in Ohio, the farmer was telling me that the USDA says he has up to 2 hours to get milk into the cooler. Well, 2 hours seems like a long time to have milk sitting out in a barn, especially during warm weather. He was telling me that his milk got into the cooler in less than 20 minutes, and that was something he was really proud about. So maybe if your milk is sitting out for 2 hours before you get it into the cooler, maybe it starts to grow stuff. I don't know. Pasteurized milk is safe. It's not that it's bad for you, it's perfectly healthy for you. But in many cases, raw milk is too, is my belief, especially if you have a normal, healthy immune system. And so I like to buy the raw milk. And I like to buy milk from a local farm. And if the local farmer wanted to pasteurize milk and sell it, I'd probably buy that too. I'm not sure how a local farm would go about doing that and selling it and meeting certain standards. To sell milk directly to consumers is different, I think, than like having a big dairy company come with a milk truck and take all your milk from your milk tank. I don't know how that all works, but I think the main reason that our government doesn't want us to buy raw milk is because the dairy industry doesn't want us to buy raw milk because they want us to buy their product in the grocery store that's pasteurized. So there are a lot of lobbyists telling government officials they don't want raw milk to be available. And so those laws vary from state to state about raw milk. In some states, you cannot buy it at all. If you have a cow, your very own cow, you can milk it and drink the milk without pasteurizing it, but that's it. In other states, you can sell raw milk in a grocery store. Most states are somewhere in between. In some states, you can sell raw milk, but you can only sell it for use by pets. Now, they don't know if you're going to feed the milk to your pet or drink it yourself, just like when you go buy some kibbles and bits at the grocery store. They might assume it's for your dog, but you could take it home and eat it if you wanted. So people buy it for pets, but then use it themselves. In some states, you can get around the law that, you can drink raw milk from your own cow by joining a cow share or a herd share. And what that means is you chip in some money, you pay a farmer so that basically you own a part of a cow or part of a herd of cows. And that's what I did when I was in Ohio. And this farmer did a herd share, not a cow share. And the reason is that if it was a cow share, it had to be a share in a specific cow, which meant if he's got a herd of 100 cows, he would have to keep track of which milk came from which cow and only let each person have milk from the cow that they owned a share of. But because it was a herd share, you owned a portion of the herd, not a specific cow. So I think I owned something like 1/16 of one cow in a herd of, I don't know, several dozen cows. And the way that worked is I had to pay a fee to join, which I want to say was like $60 or $80. It was several years ago. I don't remember exactly. And then I paid a monthly fee of $25, which got me 1 gallon of milk a week. And I didn't have to pick it up every week. I could go every other week and get 2 gallons if I preferred. But, I owned a little tiny portion of this herd of cows. Now I'm in Nebraska where you can sell raw milk. Farms can sell it directly, but you can't sell it in a store. So I can buy it directly from the farm. There are places where there are farmers who will sell raw milk even if it's not legal in their state. Sometimes they get around it by selling a jar, but the milk is free, or they just accept donations, but say the milk is free. They can get in a lot of trouble with the government for doing that and can end up losing their whole farm. So I'm going to put a link below in the description that will show you how to find the laws about raw milk in your state. And then I'm also going to put a link that will show you, that will help you find raw milk where you live. If you can get it where you live, if you want it. And I'm going to encourage everybody to do their own research if they want to buy raw milk, or if you think you might want raw milk, do your own research about whether you think it's safe or not for you and your family. I'm not trying to convince anybody to drink it. I drink it. I like it. It's what I want to do. Now, I buy it in Nebraska. I can buy it directly from the farm, and there was no fee to join. And there's no commitment. I just drop by the farm when I want some milk and buy it. With their regular customers, what this farm does is you can just stop by and get your milk out of the cooler and the little milk shed. They have it already in jars. So you just get however many jars you want out of the cooler. And then there's a jar in there for money, and you just leave your money in the jar. The first few times I bought milk from them, you know, I emailed them and they scheduled a time for me to come pick it up. They took my money, they handed me the milk. Then one day the guy's like, well, actually, if you just want to stop by whenever you want milk, here's this jar. You can put your money in there. So that works out really well. When I was buying the milk in Ohio and it was the herd share, you had to bring your own containers, and the milk was actually in this big cooler with like a spigot, and you had to like fill up your container, and then you had to take off there was like a nozzle you had to disconnect and clean and disinfect, and there was like this whole procedure to get your milk. And so it's much more convenient where I am now. And so I'll put down some links for how you can find raw milk if you want it. Where I get it now, it comes in these gallon glass jars. You see the cream on top. It's also not homogenized, which is basically where they like have it blended up so that you don't have the cream sitting on top. You know, if you buy whole milk, the cream's like mixed in. If you buy 2% milk, you know, a lot of the cream, the fat has been removed. So this is whole milk, and it's got the cream on top. I use some of the cream in my coffee. I use some of the cream mixed with just regular milk to make yogurt. And I want to start making butter with the cream. So right now I get about 2 gallons of milk. Every other week I go and pick up milk, and I usually get 2 gallons, and about half of that gets turned into yogurt because I eat a lot of yogurt, and the rest of it I drink or eat in cereal or in my coffee or whatever. So if you've got any questions about raw milk, leave them below in the comments. I'll try and answer them. If you use raw milk, let me know what your experience is with it and what it's like buying raw milk where you live. Let's see, I'll also add that here I pay $5 a gallon for the milk, and then they charge $5 for the glass jar, but I can bring the jar back next time and then just pay $5 again for the milk instead of buying a new jar each time. When I was in Ohio, like I said, I think I paid $25 a month, and that was for 1 gallon a week. So it was it was more like $6 a gallon, I guess, and that was a few years ago. So the price of raw milk really varies depending on where you live. So if you buy raw milk, let me know what you pay for it in your area too. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.